5 fights for the first 100 days. Let's tick through them, starting with Trump's cabinet. How's that fight shaping up early on?
Yeah, I think the Trump cabinet and whoever he picks for the Supreme Court are going to be the big fights early on. And obviously, I know you guys were talking about Russia. Rex Tillerson, Trump's pick for Secretary of State, as well as Senator Jeff Sessions. I think that's a big decision for Democrats, whether they go after a colleague, has had a controversial past before. That could be a big fight. And, of course, Democrats, though, have to pick their fights. I think some people like Mad Dog Mattis for defense is going to get through, but others are going to have a lot tougher time and get some tough questions on Russia.
Tom Price is another one, isn't he, Bob, in that category with Jeff Sessions, that he'll be going up against people he knows, people he's worked alongside in Washington for some time.
Yeah, well, I mean, definitely. Tom Price is someone who wants to reform the Medicare, Obamacare. He's a conservative. So he will get support from Republicans, but Democrats are going to be pressing him, especially, and that's another big fight, is the Obamacare repeal. Repealing Obamacare is going to be done early. That's the easy part. Replacing it is going to be difficult. They're not going to do it right away. So the Obamacare repeal will be effective 2 years from now, maybe 3 years from now. There's been talk of even 4 years from now, because it's going to be so hard to replace it. And, of course, electoral politics will come into place. So Price will get some very, very tough questions as HHS Secretary.
Bob, Casey Hunt, Republicans are grappling with the reality that they suddenly have to govern, not something that they were really expecting to have to do. They have to, at some point in the next year, raise the debt ceiling. Do you think that the leadership there, all of a sudden, they're going to have a Republican president? They're actually going to need to be viewed as the responsible ones instead of, dragging their heels against a Democratic president who's trying to keep the government open. Do you think they can pull it off?
I think it's going to be very difficult, Casey. I mean, this is always difficult, as you know. Republicans are not going to go for what Obama consistently sought, and that was a clean debt ceiling increase. Conservatives right now are putting together a big package on Capitol Hill to reduce the debt. I know Steve Kornacki was talking about this earlier, but Trump did not say he wants to reform or lift the retirement age for Medicare or Social Security. Well, conservatives, including Trump's budget pick, Congressman Mick Mulvaney, they do. So there's no way that they're going to lift the debt ceiling without significant reductions in government spending. How do you do that? Well, you've got to go after the entitlement, and that's going to be a huge fight.
You've also got Russia policy on there. You touched on Obamacare repeal. Here's one that most people probably aren't aware of, which is minors' benefits. They have until April 28th to extend health benefits there. Explain that one.
That's part of the government funding showdown. So unless they pass some type of bill by the end of April, the government will shut down. Minors' benefit was a big issue this month. Joe Manchin leading that effort. They did a temporary fix. Joe Manchin and other Democrats wanted a more permanent fix. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has indicated he's interested in extending those health care benefits. That's a big deal. I think one of the things also to look for is transportation. Will Donald Trump throw Democrats a bone? The tone is set in the first 100 days with the opposing party. We saw that with President Obama and congressional Republicans. It soured, no matter who you blame, in 2009 with Obamacare and the stimulus. That really soured the relationship. So the tone is going to be set early, and Democrats are saying, OK, let's see what he does. It could be quite contentious in the first 2 or 3 months of the year.
Chris Jansing here, and I'm just curious if you think that any of these that you tick off as the top 5 are going to be impacted in any way that you think might even be a surprise to some Republicans because of the public reaction. Let's look at, for example, the repeal of Obamacare, and you have the lowest uninsured rate in history, and you have 20 million people who are depending on it. Where are there places where we might see some interesting push and pull that comes, frankly, from the same constituents who voted these folks into office?
Well, it's a great question. That's what Republicans are grappling with. There are so many elements, whether it's tax law of Obamacare or the health care benefits. If you're taking health care benefits away, that's not going to sit well. Now, I spent the holidays in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. That's the middle of Trump country. People are excited about a Trump presidency, unlike many people in the Washington Beltway. However, if you're not going to be keeping your campaign promises, if you're going to be taking benefits away, if this replacement bill has a huge price tag, conservatives are not going to go for it. So this is, I think, one of the thorniest issues for Republicans. It's been a big political issue that they've done well on the marketing of Obamacare is bad, but replacing it is going to be an enormous task.
All right, Bob Cusack with The Hill. Thanks so much and Happy New Year.